All right, fire hall. Art, did you have anything on the fire hall?
To be honest, I didn't put that on the agenda. I'm not sure who did.
Mr. Chairman, supervisors, I was a member I am a member of the fire hall committee. Unfortunately, I've had 6 weeks functionally offline, but I played catch-up pool last evening at a meeting of the professionals. I'd like to read to you what I see as the status as of this evening. Okay, some of this you already know. But the board accepted a bid by SJA Architects to develop the fire hall upgrade and addition. This is a fixed price contract for $88,000. As of the last board meeting, the fire hall committee selected, the committee meeting, that is, selected the second option presented by SJA and their subs. This option provides for better traffic flow both inside the building and externally. All professionals present, the committee members, and the fire department members present agreed that option 2 was the best fit for our need. I think the board, that's you, has authority to expend funds for feasibility studies and to research, develop plans for a new building without voter approval so they can present the proposal and cost to the voters at the town meeting on the issue. Now, whether that's a special or whether you wait for the next annual or you submit it at the reconvene this year's annual or what is besides the point. My reading of Mr. Solon's statement is you are entirely in the clear and doing the best for the township. With that, gentlemen, I think you should allow the professionals to move forward with what they're about as authorized or supporting the board. Supporting the committee's decision last evening, and just let the wheels go around. You're not wasting 1 nickel of this money. It will be sitting there on file for when the time comes that it absolutely has to happen on our nickel or somebody else's nickel if it's not this reinvestment. In the period that I've been gone, I think the people you've assigned and they've all worked diligently to get their arms around this whole can of worms, and it's moving forward in a very nice manner. I don't field any questions that you may have. Yes, sir?
I'd like to support that. I thank Noel for all his efforts and their Mark and I have often different on the approaches, but our actions as far as where we want to get are the same. Anytime an engineer or an architect is able to give you a set of bidding documents, he usually gives you a price for the bidding documents to include construction. Usually about 85% of that cost is developing the bidding documents. So when he's talking about the $61,000 to $66,000 for the documents, even if you don't build the hall, you're going to be on the tab for that. But at a future time, if it doesn't go now, at a future time when we come up with some money, we can resurrect those documents, and then he has to complete his contract for the remaining $17,000. So you're really not out of money. It's not a waste of money. Sometimes it's put off for a year, but it's not a waste. So I support what they've done, and thank you much.
I think actually, having looked at what they've contracted to do and the prevailing professional costs, you've got a steal.
Well, I've got a question, because when Mark brought this up at the annual meeting, he had some documents and some cost figures and stuff. Where did that information come from?
Those numbers were put together by the committee looking at it on the board and your behalf, it wasn't a contract submission. It was talking to people who could very quickly, because time was of an essence, we had to put together a package of stuff to catch somebody's, meaning this board's, attention that we needed money to do all these things. Otherwise, the window of opportunity is just going to be shut.
So at the annual meeting, if I'm not mistaken, didn't
Yes.
the township approve the board spending up to what, about $130,000
Yes.
for the development of this? And, I mean, that was to build the fire hall, if I'm not mistaken. There was nothing in there about like 60-some% of that being given to an architect to, in addition to the 130-some, if the feds come up with 90%. Am I mistaken someplace?
Just a second. For starters, the attorneys take exception to having making a levy conditional. So it could be the whole thing, that levy gets thrown out. That's why I raised the point to the board a little earlier. They have to, since they now have a contract in place, they're on the hook to pay $66,000. That's the rock bottom minimum, but it does provide us with this package of stuff. Now, you have a deferred annual meeting, which will be reopened early fall or something. And at that time, I'm sure we'll get our hands around how the township should proceed. I think the first thing I would suggest is, given some of the writing I've seen, would be to suggest to the township that the earlier levies made, my 30 and somebody else's 100, be withdrawn, which you can do at an annual meeting, and then a suitable levy or no levy made based on what we now know is a real building in a real place with a real professional cost run that everybody can look at with plenty of time and challenge it as they so choose at that time. So the short answer to your question is to forget that money, the 130, it is not real. The 66 is. I hope that answers your question.
Well, it still doesn't address the fact that, let me see if I can put it in my terms, and you tell me if I'm correct or not, okay? What we had decided to do at the annual meeting was spend some money up to 10% of building a building, or two buildings.
Yes.
And that's where we came up with that $130,000. That's
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, there's only been one grant that I've been able to see on the internet anyway, that is for part of the stimulus package, but it says that it does not encompass new construction. You can't change the footprint of the building or the profile. You can do stuff inside, but not outside.
Excuse me, defer to.
Okay, well, I'll look at this in a little bit. So is that wrong then?
Yes, I think your interpretation is incorrect.
The one that you are seeing on the internet is the standard assistant to firefighters grant.
Okay.
That is the one we are currently writing. The one that in my report we are 75% complete
Which is
on.
equipment.
That's for the equipment.
That's for the
Yes.
equipment.
Okay, so that isn't part of that stimulus package
No.
thing that you're seeking. And you're saying that the specifications for that particular money has not been established then?
That is correct.
Okay.
But Washington and everybody else is falling all over each other to get the documents on the street.
Well, I'll believe it when it's in my hand.
This is the rough outline for that right here.
All right, I'll take a look at it.
They're still in session down there too, so that might be coming up after the session.
I would like to read something that's from the projects. This is one of the letters that I had received from Bruce Road, who's one of the Northern District coordinators.